At this hour, I'm Christina in Dallas, and here are your top stories. At least 5 people are dead as the raging California fires continue to burn, engulfing more than 28,000 acres as of Thursday morning. The blaze in Los Angeles County is still mostly uncontained, with the Palisades fire charring through more than 17,000 acres alone, making it the most destructive fire to ever hit the area. More than 1,100 structures have been burned to the ground, including 2 schools. Thousands of firefighters and first responders are fighting the flames and evacuating residents, pulling 48-hour shifts even as their own homes burn. Trump saying all of this could have been prevented.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish. And I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, you know where? Up north, and it comes down at levels. They give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state.
The mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, cut funding to the fire department by almost $18 million just months before the deadly fires started blazing through California, destroying everything in their path. The records show that the massive decrease in funding for the fire department was the second largest cut that Bass made in the 2024-2025 fiscal year budget. Bass originally wanted to cut fire department funding by a whopping $23 million. Meanwhile, residents in California who are losing everything are furious at the mayor who was in Africa for the inauguration of Ghana's president when the fires broke out. People taking to X calling Bass useless and calling for her resignation. Others pointing to the lack of water in fire hydrants and calling Bass an embarrassment to the country. President Donald Trump has been warning California Governor Gavin Newsom for years about the fire danger in the Golden State. In fact, just months ago on the Joe Rogan show, Trump talked about the Californian Delta smelt controversy that prioritizes a tiny fish species over the safety of the people in California.
It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north of water, more water than they could ever use. In order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water.
Then, while in California, Trump also talked about how California officials refuse to manage their forests to prevent wildfires.
Could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. And you have all that water that could be used to, as water, what they call water flow, where the where the land would be damp, and you'd stop many of these horrible fires.
And shortly before Newsom became a governor, Trump shot out a fire warning.
Giving billions and billions of dollars for forest fires in California, there's no reason for those fires to be like they are. Old trees are sitting there, rotting and dry, and instead of cleaning it up, they don't touch them. They leave them, and we end up with these massive fires that we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars for.
Joe Biden is giving Ukraine another $500 million in weapons, adding to the $64.1 billion in military assistance already sent to the country. White House spokesperson John Kirby previously said that the U.S. would continue to fund Ukraine, quote, right up to the end of this administration. 10 days ago, Biden announced that he was sending Ukraine $725 million worth of missiles, ammunition, anti-personnel mines, and other weapons. The administration is trying to send as much funding as possible to the country before President Donald Trump takes office on January 20th. Today's package includes ammunition for rocket systems and high-speed anti-radiation missiles, among other things. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett introduced and passed a bill in the House that would stop U.S. tax dollars from being sent to the Taliban, which is a designated terrorist group. However, according to Burchett, it stalled in the Senate, meaning it's a dead bill and American taxpayers are still on the hook for upwards of $40 million a week. Recently, Burchett wrote a letter to President Donald Trump detailing how shipments of cash are being deposited into Afghanistan's central bank and are then auctioned off, funding the Taliban and terrorism around the world. He said that even though the bill passed unanimously in the House, Senator Chuck Schumer refused to bring the bill to a vote, essentially killing it. He is now asking for Trump's support when he takes office in putting an end to American tax dollars funding terrorism. Exxon Mobil has filed a federal defamation lawsuit against California Attorney General Rob Bonta and several environmental groups. The filing comes months after Bonta sued the oil and gas giant, alleging that it deceived the public by promising the plastics it produced would be recycled. Exxon says in its suit that Bonta and the groups conspired to defame the company with statements regarding the efficacy of its plastic recycling technology. The company is seeking damages for losses and retractions of defamatory statements. Authorities in Boston say a passenger on a JetBlue plane that was taxiing at the Boston International Airport suddenly opened an exit door but was quickly held down by other passengers. A state police spokesperson said the person is facing charges. JetBlue detailed how the opening of the exit door caused an emergency slide to deploy on Flight 161 from Boston to San Juan. U.S. applications for unemployment benefits fell to their lowest level in nearly a year last week. The Labor Department said that applications for jobless benefits fell to 201,000 for the week ending January 4th, which is down from the previous week's 211,000. Salem Media Group has added Brad Parscale, President Donald Trump's former campaign manager, to the team. He will take the role of Chief Strategy Officer, bringing his wealth of knowledge and expertise to the company, focusing on digital marketing and online strategy. Parscale was the mastermind behind Trump's 2016 political campaign, using brilliant digital techniques, specifically on Facebook, that most had never heard of and no one was using in the political world. His targeted technique, unorthodox game plan, and insight into online audiences led to a Trump victory, even though the campaign operated with 10% of the staff and half the money of Trump's opponent. The highly skilled digital architect worked on Trump's 2020 re-election campaign and used his own digital platforms, Campaign Nucleus and Eyes Over, to lift Trump to victory in 2024. Salem's CEO, Dave Santrella, said Parscale's track record speaks for itself, and he's confident that the hire will take Salem to new levels of success. As for Parscale, well, he says he's excited to join the team and lead the company into a new era of innovation, saying, quote, "I'm looking forward to enhancing Salem's ability to create engaging, values-driven content that connects with today's audiences while exploring new tools and platforms to broaden our reach." That's what you need to know at this hour. In Dallas, Christina, AGuayo, Salem News Channel.